Automating sales for house cleaners. What does that even mean, and how do you do it? We're going to talk about that today. Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. Now, today's show is brought to us by House Pro, which is the #1 service software for service professionals. So today we're going to be talking about automating your business, and House Pro is one of the many tools that will get you there. It will do a bulk of your administrative tasks that you have to do on a regular, everyday basis. So check it out at housecallpro.com/Angela. And they've put together a deal for me and my friends. I know, it's super exciting. Check it out at housecallpro.com/Angela. All right, talking about automation. Now we're going to talk about automating sales. What? I know, because most house cleaners do not like sales. They do not feel that it comes naturally, and therefore they are lousy at it. And a lot of the sales and marketing and the leads that come in just kind of wither away and fall through the cracks. So joining us today, I've got a special guest expert who specializes in automating sales for house cleaners. So please help me welcome Mike Callahan from a company called SimpleGrowth. And he's going to share with us how to simply grow your business through automation.
First of all, I just want to thank you for having me on here, and hopefully we can dive in and share some knowledge of how to actually automate a service business.
Well, tell us a little bit about how you got started in the automation business, and back up because you were in the lawn care business and snow removal before that. So you understand the service industry and you understand house cleaners.
Yeah, absolutely. Lived the trenches, basically 25 years now in upstate New York. Like you said, did start out in lawn care and snow removal. Background story, just to give you an idea of why automations is so near and dear to my heart. Basically, I had unintentionally created a business that revolved around me. And I was basically the main point of failure. Started the business in high school, went through college, had 3 or 4 crews on the road, and ended up basically when I decided to take that path from school, whether it was corporate or entrepreneurship. Obviously, we went the entrepreneur route, as many of us do. But unfortunately, no one told us in college or in the past how to actually set a business up that didn't revolve around the business owner as a single point of failure. And that was my first mistake in business. And long story short, we're working 100 hours a week, pretty good effect on my personal life. Ended up causing a divorce with high school sweetheart. And long story short, basically hit rock bottom. So in those defining moments, I took a inward and said, what do I like in my life? What don't I like? And one of the things I actually didn't like in my life at that point was my business. So went on the internet like many people do and said, how do I get my life back from my business? So found an automation platform and had no background in technology. But what we did is just took each little part of the business and automated it and went from 100 hours a week down to 3 to 5 hours a week, and then basically becoming an absentee owner. So SimpleGrowth never really came to fruition as a business I wanted to start. But my buddy in tech flew in from Phoenix, asked me what we're doing. We had the screen in the office, and he said, what are you guys up to? And I showed him. He goes, well, you should probably start a business to help people. And on the flip side, obviously make some money. So my passion around automations, whether you're working with us or working with somebody else, is I think it's really instrumental to automate those manual tasks, get your life back from your business, and create something that's replicable and turnkey that, heaven forbid, if you fell ill or if you wanted to sell your business and hand it off to somebody, that's a replicatable business that you can actually have.
Now, when you use the word automation, what exactly are you talking about? Because I know in the house cleaning industry, we toss around the term a lot. We say we need to automate things. What kind of things would we automate with your help?
Yeah, great question. So the first thing that we looked at in our business was the sales process. So we wanted to get more sales in the business. So we went literally from lead acquisition all the way through upselling. So for instance, on a real high level, somebody hits our website, we're going to segment them whether they're interested in a top to bottom clean, a weekly, biweekly clean, a deep clean, a post-construction. So we can have an automated but personal conversation around their needs. And we can educate them how to do that as a professional. So we're creating a higher perceived value of the service. And we're going to also overcome any sales or price objections up front. So do I need to be home to have the home clean? Is there certain insurance I should be suggesting or asking for when I'm out vetting a professional cleaning company? Next step was after that is we submit this estimate. And a lot of times when we get busy, especially in the spring, no matter the industry or near the holiday season in home cleaning, we don't have the time or bandwidth to follow up consistently on an estimate. So what we did is we created a process in our business called 20 days to close. And as soon as that estimate was submitted, it followed up over different mediums such as automated text, automated email, and even phone calls. A lot of people don't like to make phone calls. but it's instrumental. And what it did is we realized is we wanted to standardize the way that happened. So it came complete with a call script for the office with a deadline. It would say, hey, call Mrs. Smith. It's been 3 days since we dropped off her top to bottom. This is what to say. If she becomes a customer, do this in the software. If she doesn't, do this. So we've created a standardized, predictable workflow that can be done in the office or delegated to a virtual assistant halfway across the country. Then obviously, the next part was, what do we do when we get that customer? How do we get that top to bottom or reoccurring weekly or biweekly clean on the schedule? So we automatically, not anything to do by the office, a task or to-dos assigned to get that scheduled, as well as customer facing. We have a welcome and wow sequence, we call it. But basically, it's an automated email that welcomes them, acclimates them what to expect. A lot of people want to get a credit card on file now. So that credit card automation to get that card on file happens. We do a 30, 60, and 90-day follow-up for any of your reoccurring weekly, bi-weeklies, or monthlies. Or if it's just a deep clean near the holidays, we follow up once just to make sure they're happy with the service. So these are all the things that always happen to fall through the cracks when the business gets busy or the business owner wants to leave for a few days for vacation. So once we've got them in, we followed up. We run them through a thing that we call Happy Holidays, all your major US or Canadian holidays, and we educate them and wish them a happy holiday. Sounds corny, but what we did find is the main first product that we used was Infusionsoft, is email deliverability really needed to have a contact at least once or twice a month, and that scratched that itch. So it wasn't, we wanted to build a relationship, but it was more theoretically, we wanted to get in that inbox and stay whitelisted. And then the final thing we did was a monthly newsletter, but it wasn't your typical newsletter. It educated them in the beginning of the month what they should be doing in their home or yard, monthly tips and tricks type of thing. So if we're near the holiday season, we're doing maybe a fridge clean out or stove clean out, we'd educate them the best practice and a real soft one-liner at the bottom. Hey, by the way, we're here to help with that if you'd like that. And then what we realized is we really needed to have a way to segment our clients and leads separately in our database. So that was our mid-month communication. So that's your monthly promotions or specials based on where they're at in the customer life cycle. And then the final part of the sales process that we drove into is obviously if we didn't win the estimate, we've lost it. So right from lead acquisition off the website, we use the analogy of an imaginary bucket. We stick each consumer in a bucket based on the service. So whether it was a post-construction, move in, move out, or a weekly, bi-weekly clean, if we lost that estimate, the automation goes out every 6 months and actually apologizes to the specific service personally that they've lost. So in our company, the first year we did it, we had about 164 estimates generated off this process. And our cost to get a new client through marketing was about $78. We drove that down to between $56 and $58 per lead source. And it was money that we literally, every time we lost an estimate, we figuratively crumple it up and throw it in the trash, but we literally had paid for that lead acquisition. So we realized if we could use a software system and create a qualified database, the automation would work that list. We do the same thing for anybody who canceled. In cleaning, we're finding about 2 to 2.5% of all your canceled clients will actually reactivate. And you're probably also sitting there going, what about the crazies that canceled we don't want back? So we ended up putting a do not market button in there. We made that mistake at Callahan's, I'd say 5 or 6 years ago. And at that point, Christine and Tammy in the office were literally ready to kill me. And then the final thing that we did is we realized if we had a one-time service such as like a deep clean, but they didn't grab a reoccurring weekly or biweekly clean, we needed a systematic way to upsell that to raise that client lifetime value for that recurring revenue. So what the automation does is it looks at the logic that says if they have a one-time clean, but they haven't signed up for recurring service in about 5 to 7 days, it goes out through a series of emails, texts, or phone calls to actually raise that upsell value.
That is so impressive. And you just brought up about 15 things that a new business owner or someone that is not using automation right now would jump in and say, oh my goodness, I need to be doing that. Does your service offer a consulting program where you could take somebody that is new to automation and they're trying to figure out the ins and outs of what exactly that looks like for their business and help them find the right program for them? Is that something that you guys offer?
Yeah, absolutely. And happy to chat with people. Like I said, here more in an education of fashion, but yes, the way we tackle it in our instance is a done for you system. And the biggest hurdle to implement it, whether you're doing it yourself or you have a professional come in and do it with you, is usually the marketing content is the biggest hurdle. Once you figure out how to build the automations, which is an undertaking itself, then what do you say? What's the timing? And that's where we come into play. And we provide about 130 to 140 marketing documents pre-built with marketing content specific for each type of cleaning, and everything up right through the promotions without providing the promotions themselves, because we obviously each company is different how they handle that. But That's ways that we can dive in and do that. But basically, the reason why I'm passionate about this and we can speak so candidly about it is everything I had built to basically create a solution for the problems I was busy in my business, going from below $1 million to $1 million and well beyond. And it seemed like the main hurdle was the sales. And then we grew so fast, we literally almost went out of business. Like, where do we get all these people to work for us? So we basically took a sales pipeline and automated that literally from recruiting, screening, basically onboarding, and then all the way through video training. So it was a complete turnkey solution that literally you could take and give somebody, and they could run it almost as good as you, if not maybe sometimes better. Because when I left, I found that I was the bottleneck in the business, because as business owners, we like to get in there and meddle a little bit and micromanage. So definitely not on a pedestal here preaching by any means. I've made all the mistakes at least once or twice that they're there to be made. So the automation allowed that workflow to happen without me having to dive in. So it was the sales, the employee systems. And then the final part is you've got 25 or 30 plus employees. The business owner tends to get sucked back in, at least it did in my area. And now I've become a glorified babysitter. And if I don't tell people what to do every day, every week, every month, quarter, or annually, it doesn't happen. So at that point, it was at 3 to 5 hours, maybe a little bit more, but I really want to become that absentee owner that we hear about, that 4-hour work week, or the Michael Gerber working on it, work in it. So what we did is we called it repetitive tasks, but we went in through about 7 areas of the business that we found that you could automate. So they were sales, customer service, billing, scheduling, maintenance, and owner. I think those are the main ones, at least. But what we did is we assigned tasks to each one of those roles on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually basis. And what it would do, let's just say we had Julie as our salesperson. Julie would get a to-do or a task that's due for that day of all the things she needs to do in that sales role for the day. If she didn't do the job, about 5:15 that day, she'd either get an automated text or email saying, "Hey, Julie, you didn't do your job today. You need to get on it." And based on the level of severity or importance, it would automate it to the manager or owner of the business via text or email. Let's let know Julie didn't do her job. So we leverage the power of a software system to make sure what should happen happens when it should happen without the business owner having to manage it. And if it doesn't happen, then it can drag the appropriate person in to make sure it gets completed.
I love these ideas. You are absolutely brilliant. Thank you. I know that we're out of time and I hate that we have to go, but tell our listeners and our viewers where they can find you and learn more to have a conversation with you, because this sounds like this is just the tip of the iceberg. And I can see right now in my head how every small business can use your service.
Yeah. Website is simplegrowthsystems.com. Feel free to check us out. We're on Facebook. We probably got maybe 400 videos of just free how-to content across multiple software platforms, how to do it yourself. And then if you need some help doing it, we're always here. But we're in the mindset of abundance, obviously, like yourself. And we're happy to help people along the way. And if you need some help, then we're here to have a conversation as well.
Alrighty, and that is Mike Callahan from Simple Growth, and he can help you simply grow your business through automation. Now, if you're like me, you probably heard just 5 or 10 things that you're like, ugh, oh my goodness, I need to implement that immediately. So I recommend a call with Mike so that he can help troubleshoot some of the stuff that you're not doing yet and kind of guide you and get you on the right track. Like he said, there's a lot of free information out there, and also he has a consulting program where he can help bring you through piece by piece through those marketing campaigns. I'm going to leave links in the show notes to all of that stuff. Now, if you found this helpful, please pass it on to a friend. If we've earned your subscription, please subscribe. And until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.